All right, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy, it's your dog. I'm doing a tier list finally. I haven't done a tier list in a long time. We're only ranking the actual main characters, not the cameos. And it's gonna be based on if you're using their strongest cameo or strongest cameos. You know what I mean? So we're not ranking, a Geras Scorpion team, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. So with the tiers, we're going with top. We're going with top. We're going with high. We're going with mid. We're going with low. And then we're going with poop. We're going with poop tier as the bottom tier. Alright, so we got Ashrah first. Ashrah, very strong. She's got, in my opinion, the best buttons in the game. She's got really good synergy with any kind of projectile cameo, like Chameleon, Serena, Kung Lao, you know what I mean, to kind of round out her game. She's got decent mix-ups. And yeah, just her button... She's got really good damage, too. So her buttons, her damage, stuff like that, her mind games, I think that puts her probably... I'm going to say, like, high tier. I don't know if I'm going to put her top yet. We'll see as we go. We'll see. All right, now Baraka. Now, as many of y'all know, whenever they initially nerfed Baraka and Cyrax, I downplayed Baraka a bit. Because they were big nerfs, but he was still obviously really good with Striker. Now they went ahead and nerfed Striker and doubled the cooldown of Striker. And yeah, to be honest, like, Baraka's still good with, like, Kano. You can do some stuff with Cyrax, kind of. Baraka Striker's still okay. But I think overall, he's, like, top 15 range in the game. And you got to remember, there's, like, 20 characters in the game. So that would overall land him in mid-tier. I might put him in, like, the bottom of high. Maybe the bottom of high. He's still really good, like, really good buttons. Good converts. Can get good bleed setups. He's really good with Kano. So I might put him bottom of high tier, but for now I'm going to put him mid. All right, now General Shao. General Shao's really good, right? He's got good mix-ups. Some of the best mix-ups, like, without a cameo in the game. He's got really good synergy with a lot of different cameos. He's got, his stand 2 is one of the best buttons in the game. Besides that, though, his buttons, like, aren't the greatest. And I feel like that holds him back a bit. And he does really need certain cameos to supplement his neutral, which you can pick those cameos. And he's got extra health. So overall, he's really good. I don't know where I would put him exactly. I might put him, like, mid-tier with Baraka right now. I think he's about, like, top 15-ish range, top 20-ish range. So yeah, I would put him about mid-tier with Baraka right now, I would say. Alright, so who's next? Geras. I actually think Geras is one of the worst characters in this game right now. His neutral's really weak. To get his neutral going, they have to use, like, high-risk, low-reward moves, like his sweep and his forward 3 and stuff. And then his, like, neutral and projectile game without a cameo is the worst in the game, in my opinion. His down 1 is the worst in the game, stuff like that. He's still got good damage, good confirms, good converts, and good setups and stuff. So he's not, like, terrible. He's not poop tier, but I think he is low tier at this point. I would say he's one of the bottom 3 characters in the game. Now, speaking of bottom 3, we got Havik here. Now, Havik, most people have him bottom 1. And I would agree with that. It's not necessarily that he's absolutely shit. He does have 100 extra health. He does have that long mid he can use with cameos to do some dirty strings. And he's got some good setups with his unblockable, But overall, I think he's probably lacking compared to the rest of the cast. They can maybe give him something... And also, he's got the worst armored move in the game. They can maybe give him, like, a better armored move. Maybe, like, a projectile cancel like they gave Ermac. And that could help him out. Something like that. Maybe make his down 4 more plus on hit. That's another thing about Havik is his down 4 is a beast button. One of the best buttons as far as hitboxes and speed, pokes-wise. But you get nothing off of it. Maybe if his down 4 is a little more plus, that would be a decent buff too. But yeah, Havik overall, probably the worst character in the game. I don't think he's poop tier. I don't think anyone's poop tier. But I do think he's lower end. Okay, so now we're looking at Johnny here. Johnny's very good, right? He dropped a little bit. They nerfed his buttons. He now doesn't have, like, the fastest pokes in the game, which was one thing that was giving him a big advantage. But he's still got really good damage. Meterless, too. He synergizes really good with a lot of cameos. He gets, like, 20+% throws and 40+% BMBs with Janet. He gets, if you add, like, a projectile cameo, like Kung Lao or Chameleon on him, he gets really good neutral off of that. You could play him with Goro to get, like, down 1 mind games that are plus. Combo of Shadow Kick. So overall, he's really good. Just, like, he's not as advantageous up close as he was. And he's not, Also, his parry does less damage now too. So they've nerfed him in quite a few meaningful ways, but I still think he's very good. I would say he's like high tier up there with Ashrah. I don't know if I would quite put him top. Now, Kenshi, the thing about Kenshi is he's got that Sento sandwich, strongest offense in the game by far. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, but if you can get around Sento or stuff like that or kind of neutralize it, he sucks. I disagree. I think Kenshi players, they just got to be men and play solid neutral when they don't have Sento. He's still got really good buttons when he doesn't have Sento. And yeah, I just feel like overall Kenshi players are insane down players, kind of babies. And for that reason, I would put him top tier. I don't know if I would have him as top 1. We'll get back to that in a little bit. But yeah, I think he's top tier for sure. Now, Kitana is very strong. She's got really long-rangey buttons. Some of the best converts in the game. Like, any little touch with Kitana leads into insane damage. Her projectile game's really strong. Her synergy with, like, Chameleon and some other top-tier cameos is really good. So, overall, I would say Kitana is... I would put her high tier above Johnny right now. She's definitely in that top 5 discussion. And yeah, that's where I would put her. Now let's move to Kung Lao. Kung Lao, he's got really good damage. He's got insane synergy with Goro, able to use his armored launcher and be plus 12 on block. His dive kick's really good. His projectiles are decent. But besides that, like, I feel like Kung Lao, he's very neutral dependent, or he's very resource dependent, I mean. When you don't have Goro, who has a very slow cooldown, and when you don't have Bar, he's probably the worst character in the game. He's like, you know how Kenshis think they are without Sento? That's Kung Lao without resources. Like, Kung Lao is what Kenshi players think they are without Sento when he doesn't have resources. And, but you can stay patient until Goro comes back, build Bar projectiles. It's not too bad. And for that reason, I'm going to put him pretty high up. I think he's really strong. I think he's definitely a very relevant character in the meta because he's very easy to apply, right? You just get out there, you do armor into Goro, you strike throw, stuff like that. You do his overhead or his sweep, something like that. He's definitely in that like top 10 range, I would say. Now, Mei, obviously Mei, she's got good damage, good conversions. She's got, well, she actually has some of the best damage. She has, like, good frame data on her moves, but the problem with her is her neutral's pretty weak. Like, her buttons are really stubby. She has trouble, like, getting things going where she has to chase. But here's the thing. Overall, great damage, great projectile game, good frame data. Just, the gaps in the length of her normals hold her back a bit. So I would say overall, she's a mid-tier character, I would say. I'll put her, and this is ordered from left to right. So, for example, I have Kitana higher than Johnny, Ashrah, and Kung Lao. I have Baraka higher than Shao and Mei. So, yeah. All right, let's move on. So, Liu Kang. Liu Kang's very strong. Like, he gets combos off his throw with Kung Lao and Chameleon. Great fireball game. Some of the best buttons up close. Really good combos and conversions, especially with, like, Chameleon and stuff. He can go on, like, forever with his combos. Like, the only true, like, 6-frame jab Punisher that's hit confirmable into a string, which is, like, insanely strong to think about. And, yeah, overall, I think Liu Kang is very good. I'm not sure if I want to put him in top tier or high tier. I feel like one thing that holds him back is his neutral game, like, is not the greatest, right? Like, his buttons up close are insane. His fireball game is insane. But, like, that in-between space where you're, like, spacing versus, like, someone like Kitana, someone like Kenshi, someone like Ashrah, he really struggles. And I think that might hold him back a little bit long-term. But overall, I do think he's really strong. I'm going to put him about right there above Johnny and below Kitana right now. One second. All right, so Mileena. Mileena's a character that has a lot of issues, like, as a base character. But once you add the right cameo to her, she gets insane. Like, the mix-up she gets off of any situation into a combo with Chameleon is crazy. Like, you can do, like, stand 1 EXI into Mileena size or into Chameleon float, and then they're guessing on that, or 1-2. You can combo off of her size and neutral, and then obviously J-Glaive, self-explanatory, is insane. She gets a back throw combo with Chameleon. So that team is crazy. Obviously, y'all have seen, like, Hourglass of Rain win tournaments with, like, Mileena, Kung Lao doing those hard-to-blockable mix-ups. That shit's pretty crazy, too. And so, overall, I feel like with the right cameo, she's pretty high up there. I would say, like, right around here. She's probably top 10. She's probably going to end up being in my top 10. So, yeah, I would say right around there. All right, now, Nitara. Nitara's a character who, she gets pretty interesting with the right cameo, like Chameleon. You notice I'm saying Chameleon a lot. Chameleon is just top 1 free. But anyways, Yeah, she gets pretty interesting, gets good mix-ups, and she gets like neutral help with the fan and the glaive projectiles. But overall, I feel like being like a jumping bean character in this game is not the best thing in the world. Just because like everyone has like armor that they can make safe or launch, and you can anti-air with that. You can up block, things of that nature. She has ways to bait that, but she's in constant danger playing her game. You know what I'm saying? Like, she kind of needs to play a little bit more grounded to minimize risk, but that's not really her game plan, you know? So she's kind of in a weird spot where, like, if she was in MK11, she would be super top tier, like Cabal and stuff like that. But in this game, she just doesn't work very well compared to other characters. She's still decent. So for now, I'm going to put her in mid tier. But yeah. Yeah. Her game plan just, it doesn't fit in MK1 as well as like it would have in MK11 with like Airgas Cabal. All right, now Raiden. Raiden got big nerfs. And I honestly don't know where I want to put Raiden now. I feel like he's still really good, right? Because you can do like anything in the Storm Cell and the Kano, and you can still be like 0 or +2. And if you think about it, that's better than like what most of the cast is dealing with. So I feel like he's still pretty good. He's got good buttons. He's got good mix-ups compared to other characters. His neutral's pretty good, especially with Kano or with Chameleon. He's got really good mix-ups with Chameleon too. So I don't know. I don't know where I would put Raiden. I would probably move him down to like right under Mileena, in between Mileena and Lao, I would say. Yeah, I would put him about right there, I would say. All right, so Rain. Rain's a character who actually is pretty crazy now. He gets like 21% plus combos off of Janet back throw, 14% off forward throw just because of Janet, and then he gets like 45 to 48% off any touch, and he gets insane combos in the corner. Like Bandinos, he won a stack tournament last night playing Rain Janet, and it honestly looked insane. And Sonic saying Rain's top tier now, and I honestly buy it. I think Rain is like sleeper top 5, sleeper top tier right now. That synergy he gets with Janet is just insane. Like, Rain already has insane spacing and neutral, and then you couple that with the fact that any hit now, you're taking 45 to 48%, meterless or 1 bar, he gets that. And he has good cancels, and he gets combos off his throw, and his forward throw does a lot too, now that his Janet's his main team. So yeah, Rain is top 5 discussion for sure now, in my opinion. All right, so Reiko. Reiko's another character who I think is easily top tier right now. So he's just pretty insane, right? His down 4 is fucking like one of the most obnoxious buttons in the game. He can cancel into a special. His buttons up close are really good. Like, and the frame data on him's really good. Like, he's either like 0 or +1 or -1 off of like damn near anything. He's got meterless combos. He's got one of the best projectile games, and his grab goes for big combos. So I don't know. I think Reiko, whenever we had like Prime Cyrax, Prime Striker, Prime Kung Lao cameos, he was like top 10 rank. He was like barely hanging on the top 10. You know what I mean? When like Raiden Cyrax, Baraka Striker, all those crazy Kung Lao cameo teams when it had quick recharge, when all those teams were running around, I feel like Reiko was like barely hanging on the top 10. But now that he's got 1100 health, command grab combos, like insane buttons, projectile game, now that he's still left with all that stuff that he had and all those other things are gone, I think he's rose up to where he's honestly in top 1 discussion and contention. He's not who I have in top 1, you'll see that later, but I probably have him like top 2, top 3-ish. All right, now Reptile's an interesting one because he rose up quite a bit with his buffs, right? Before he was like clearly like pretty low tier. But they fixed a lot of his whiffing issues. They gave him an interesting buff where he can cancel his like overhead pounce, and you can use that off his jab string too, even though the jab string normally not special cancelable. And that's a really good buff, right? And he got a regular projectile to help him in the projectile wars. So overall, I would say Reptile, he still has problems, right? He doesn't have the best neutral. He has a lot of gaps off of his stuff. But overall, I mean, because of his damage, because of his improved mind games, he doesn't whiff as much, so you can confirm better. Because of that, I would say that he's like a solid mid-tier now. I would say he's like a solid mid-tier now. Like, he's a solid pick. And yeah, I would definitely pick him over like the characters I'm putting above him, like Li Mei, Nitara, Geras, Havik. But I don't know if the buffs did enough for him for me to put him any higher. or high tier or above Shao and Baraka. Yeah, so I would put him like right there, like mid tier. All right, now Scorpion. Scorpion, he got an interesting buff. He got that new mid, which is pretty good, especially with the right cameo. But it's not like the best mid string in the world. The best thing it kind of did was it makes him have to respect 4-3-2 more on block, kind of. That's kind of the best thing it did. And he's still good, right? Like, he's got... at least Scorpion, like, he's great, in my opinion. Like, he's got great neutral buttons with stand 2, down 3, jump kick. He can run away really good. Back 3 into cameo. Spear into cameo. Teleport into cameo. Stuff like that. Like, he's kind of a menace in neutral. Like, he can run away and then go in, like, kind of whenever he wants with the right cameo. And obviously chain spin into cameo. It's one of the more brain dead things in the game to get offense going and to reset neutral and block. He's got really good damage. Meterless confirms into combos. But I just think, like, with all that being said, I just think other characters are better in this game. So I'm going to put him about right here. Here's the thing. I think Scorpion and Reptile are good. I just think everyone I'm putting above him is better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say the only characters I think are really lacking are the characters I'm putting in low. Like, I think all these characters in mid are really good. Like, you could do good in a tournament with them. It's just, I would say other characters are better. It's just my opinion. All right, so moving on. We have Shang. So Shang, I think, is like, I don't know. I think a big problem for Shang is his buttons, right? Like, he doesn't have a good jab string. His mid string is kind of whatever. It was good whenever Kung Lao cameo was +2. So he could be +2 all the time off of it. But now it's just like, it's kind of like, you know, it's a 13 frame mid. It's okay. Jab string is trash. His pokes are kind of trash. He doesn't really outzone people, even though he's Shang Tsung. Unless you, like, can get, like, a, like, clever, like, Ground Skull EX in there to get a combo off of their zoning. Overall, I just feel like, also, Morph isn't that good. It's, like, Morph, like, it costs a bar, and I don't know. I just feel like the potential isn't there like we thought there was. So overall, I think Shang is one of the weaker characters in the game. I think he needs help with his buttons. I think EX Morph could be better, or just Morph in general could be better. And yeah, I don't think they should buff his zoning necessarily. I don't think he needs to be the best zoner. But the fact that he's getting outzoned by so many characters, and like some cameos alone are outzoning him, it's just tough because he doesn't have a moveset other than that to like to compensate. I feel like buttons not that good, offense not that good. Yeah, so yeah, Shang overall I think is one of the lower tier characters. All right, so Sindel's really good, right? Like, she's got really good neutral. She's got really good like buttons, really good damage, really good like setups with her scream since it's a really long meterless capture. And yeah, overall I feel like Sindel's really strong. Her like, it's just the combination of the neutral, the damage, the setups with Lao and Cyrax, you know. And I'm sure she's got crazy stuff with Chameleon too. So yeah, overall Sindel, definitely a top tier character. I would say she's like, I would put her above Rain for now. I would put her above Rain. All right, so Smoke. So Smoke is like an alright character, right? Like, obviously his problems is he really needs a cameo to help him out in neutral, which you could put on, but that might take away some of his setup potential with more offensive cameos. And then also his he's got gaps in like everything, right? Like both his jab strings have gaps, his lows have gaps, his cancels are all minus. But I feel like he's decent, right? Like, he's got good damage. He's got really good punishes with like his forward one. He can go invisible, set that up with certain cameos. So overall, I think he's good. I just think other characters are better. So I'm going to go ahead and say Smoke is like, he's like around right here, I would say. I think Smoke's like around right there. Okay, I'm actually going to put Reptile above him. Okay, Sub-Zero. So Sub-Zero is an interesting character because by himself, he's kind of he's kind of whatever. But with Chameleon cameo, he's actually pretty insane because he can get like, so he has his back 3/4 string, right? That's low. He could do that and then convert it with Mileena size, or he could do back 3 into Mileena ball roll for a mix up, or he could do raw ball roll. So he's got a three-way launching guess with Mileena, and then with Kitana cameo with Chameleon, he can do like unsafe stuff in the float. And the difference with Sub-Zero and other characters is whenever they do float, they just float away, right? and you can like try to chase him, punish him, stuff like that. Sub-Zero actually has a dive kick, right? So you could do something unsafe into Chameleon Kitana float, and then dive kick the other way to punish them trying to punish you. And then he's already got like an annoying like spacing kind of like zoning game with like clone and with the size 16 shoe move and stuff. So throwing Jade Glaive on top of that when you're in Jade stance, it's just insane. So like he synergizes perfectly with like all three of her stances, and it just really boosts him up the tier list a lot, in my opinion. I still don't know if he's like a high tier character. I don't know about that, but I do think it bumped him up a lot. And I would actually put him like right here. I would actually put him like right here. I'm gonna need to see more in tournament of that team before I'm putting him up in this range. You know what I'm saying? But for now, I'm gonna say he's mid tier, right around there, which is still really good, right? All right, so Tanya, I would say is like low tier. She just really needs help. No, I'm just kidding. So Tanya, I actually believe is the best character right now. So Tanya, same kind of deal as Reiko, where like the whole game she was kind of floating around top 10 like Tanya Goro. But like all these stronger teams than her got nerfed, right? Like Raiden got nerfed, Kung Lao cameo got nerfed, so all those teams got nerfed. Cyrex cameo got nerfed, so all those teams got nerfed. Striker cameo got nerfed. You see what I'm saying? So like teams like Tanya Goro and Reiko Trimmer, I feel like they rose to the top through that, and now they're the best characters in the game. Just by process of elimination, you know what I'm saying? Like Tanya Goro, just insane neutral, insane confirms, meterless confirms, plus armored launcher, plus off of her like longer strings, little cool like gimmicky mix-ups you can throw into. It's just, I think it's overall the best team, and I think we're gonna see a lot of Tanya Goro at Final Combat, unless there's more changes, which I don't think there should be. I think they should hold off on balancing again until after Final Combat. They should just let people cook from here, and so yeah, Tanya top 1 in my opinion. So Omni-Man's really good. You need a certain cameo with him. You need like a cameo to help him out in neutral, right? Because he's kind of like an anti-zoning weird character in a game where like that's not like the most effective thing in the world. But if you pair him with like Lao cameo, like you saw VGY do to win Pro Comp EU West, if y'all saw that, he's really good because he gets the best projectile in the game, or one of the best projectiles in the game all of a sudden. And you could throw like EX clap out. You could use it to get in. And he has really good strings, right? Like his 1-2s plus on block. It does have a gap, but you know, you can bait it. And I feel like that's a good trade-off for it being plus on block. His forward 4s are really like good long mid. And he's got like the best meterless damage in the game besides maybe Reptile. And you can confirm off basically anything, especially if you're willing to spend a bar for like the EX grab if it's like a tight confirm. So yeah, Omni-Man overall I think is very good. I don't know where I would place him, but I feel like just due to like his meterless damage, his plus on block strings, and his really good neutral with Lao cameo, I would say he's like bottom of high tier. I would say he's like bottom of high tier. Yeah, so that's where I would put him, I think. Yeah, I think that's the right spot. All right, so Quan Chi obviously still has the worst buttons in the game. Really slow pokes. His jab sucks. He's got in his strings, he's got huge gaps off of everything. But his zoning is insane now, right? Because of Bone Cage, you can do it on block. You can get the armor portal going. But my hang up with Quan is like, even though you can get armor going with him and stuff, his offense isn't really scary. So you can just block a little bit and you're good. I think his strongest thing is his zoning, right? Like, you get Bone Cage on him, you get those purple skulls on him. But I feel like enough characters can contend and put the right cameo on to get around it, that it's not like, I don't think it really makes him top tier, to be honest. I think he's definitely good, right? But I don't know. It's hard for me to rank him too highly when the zoning isn't like that match ending. It's not gonna like just shit on characters, you know what I mean? Like some Injustice zoning. And also his buttons are so bad, so it's hard for me to put him that high. He's also got less health than everyone as well. Besides Johnny, I think. Or maybe just in general, even less than Johnny, maybe. So I'm going to put him, like, right here, I would say. He's definitely good. Definitely good. He's just weird. You have to use him in kind of an unconventional way. Because with most characters, we're used to, like, putting our pokes on people, putting our strings on people, stuff like that. But his are just garbage. So you just really got to set up those zoning situations with punish people with stand for. That's one of the goated buttons. And yeah, he can get some stuff going, but overall, I think he's mid tier. All right, so Peacemaker. Let me think about Peacemaker. So they nerfed his zoning a bit. He's still like a top 3 zoner, though. They nerfed his damage a lot. That's the big thing that hurts, I would say. Overall, I think he's probably... high tier. I would say he's like around like here-ish. Like I would say he's like in that top 10 range, I would say. So yeah, I would say he's in like that top tier range, or that top 10 range. He's still got good buttons. He's still got insane zoning, top 3 zoning in the game. He's still got great confirms. He's got great mix-ups with like his 2-2 strings with cameos and stuff. So yeah, I would say overall he's in that like top 10 range. But yeah. All right, let's move on. All right, so Ermac. Ermac's got some of the best buttons in the game. They're like very disjointed too, which is like insane. Like he's kind of like Ashrah, and it makes it so like even though his cancels are minus, you could do like a cancel into a backdash into like his disjointed mid or disjointed stand 2, and it's really hard for a lot of the cast to deal with. And with Janet, he's getting big combos off his grab. He's getting huge combos off like his 1-2-3 grab, which is a great shimmy. So every time you're up close with Ermac Janet, you're guessing between back throw into huge combo, or you're guessing into shimmy into a huge combo, and he can cancel into more mind games. And also like his projectile game is not that bad, right? Like that low stomp, it goes under a lot of projectiles, so you can kind of like blow for blow outzone a lot of the casts. So he doesn't really have an issue there. And yeah, just overall, I feel like his buttons, his pressure, his like guessing that leads into huge damage, I feel like that overall has him with like top tier potential. I would say he's like right around here, like 4th in the game, top 5. Yeah, I would say he's like right around there. Yeah, I think he's really good, y'all. I think he's really good. And then Homelander is gonna go in like mid. The eye lasers, the strings, they're just not that good. Like the cancels are way too minus. He doesn't have the disjointed stuff like Ermac. No, it's just shit. Imagine. But nah, y'all, that's my tier list. So yeah, I got top 5. I got Tanya, Reiko, Kenshi, Ermac, Sindel. Rain, not top 5, but I do think he's top tier. I almost want to move Kitana up to top tier. Almost. I feel like I maybe should. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to put Kitana top tier. I think Kitana's top tier for sure with the right cameo. So yeah, that's my tier list, y'all. That's my tier list. Let me know what y'all think in the Twitch chat. Let me know what y'all think on YouTube. That's going to be it for the YouTube part of this. I'm going to cut the recording. Much love, y'all. Let me know what you think.